I'm going to go to what we're going to cover today, which is, first of all, I was playing around with GenSpark earlier. GenSpark has its own browser. I've got the app here on my Mac. What I wanted to do was I'm going to put together a Flux LoRa of Jay Abrahams. Let's quickly zoom in there so you can see. Find 50 to 20 headshots of Jay Abraham in order to create a Flux LoRa in his lateness for a meeting I have. And then it went across and it pulls those images from the web. I said it's got 20 images. Some of those are a bit similar, so I went back and said, can we get some new ones where we stop some of that duplication? For a total of 25. And then the next bit after that, now create a zip file with all 25 images. I'll use the AI Drive tool to organize and compress them. It did a good job of putting them all on its AI drive. We're going to go over to, this is replicate.com. I'll put a link to this into the show notes. And we're using the Fast Flux Trainer, which was released quite recently. There is another Flux Trainer, but this is the fast one. Might as well use that. I think it's also a bit cheaper. And then we want this to be private. And then what I've done there is I zipped up all of the images into, so all of the images we got from Jay into a zip file. And then we've got the trigger word. This is when you're going to prompt, then you need to have a trigger word. I'm going to call that Jay LoRa. And then here we've got the LoRa type as the subject. And then you can choose from the advanced options how many training steps. I'm just going to go with a default for this one. And then the seed, we're going to go for create the training. Let's take a look what we have here. So we have the subject, we have the zip file, and the output is just being created at the moment. This is the LoRa weight. And here we are back, and we have finished the training run. And you can see here we can go run train model or download weights. I've downloaded the weights here, and we're just going to call that J LoRa weights, for example. And then we can go to run the trained model. So I'm going to do that is I'm going to right click there. I'm going to go to any new tab, and we've got the J LoRa. As it mentions here, the trigger word is J LoRa. When we put J LoRa into text, then it uses that like a placeholder, and then it knows to reference that image. So I'd say an image of J LoRa, and for example, eating an ice cream. So an image of J LoRa eating ice cream and smiling, and you can see it's replaced that with blue. And then we're going to go for, we don't need the image file and we don't need a mask. We could go for a 9 by 16, I think. Leave the heights as they are. We will go for model. Dev is fine. Number of outputs, let's see, we'll leave this and go fast. I guess it uses more money, but we'll go there. And we will do a scale, extra LoRa. I'm just going to go for the defaults on those ones. Let's see how it turns out. Let's move this one out of the way. To go. And here we go. Scroll up. It's pretty quick. There's different steps. These are different runs. So it's gone for the first run, 100%, and it's going for the second run. And that didn't do a great job. A girl eating an ice cream. So it's obviously gone a bit squiffy somewhere along the way. Now there's a new version, which is what I'm using here. And I didn't have these issues before, but I'll just have a look at XT, and it's saying analyzing, you need to make sure you're using the keyword, trigger word, which we were, but I did add the prompt here, and it's saying, even with the correct trigger word, there are a few technical reasons why the generated outputs might not reflect your trained subject. While the trigger word is present, the rest of your prompt wearing a smart business suit is generic. The model may still rely on the base training and default to common representations such as women in business suits if the prompt does not specify gender, age, or other distinguishing features. We go back into chat. Then we can see what I asked for here, the photographic image of Jay LoRa, a respectable middle-aged man wearing a Hawaiian shirt with sunglasses and a cap. And you can see it's done a better job now of creating one in this sort of mode. And go download, and what it would do, because there's two images, we're going to download as a zip file, and then we're going to unzip those, and they're going to go into my folder over here, and you can see we've got a couple of images, and the other one I did was just ask for a professional headshot, and you can see it actually did a good job of this one. Let's pull it over here, and I think that's probably my favorite of all the shots. There's another one as well. There we go. I think both of those are good looking photos. Just make sure you're more specific. And let's go for just one more. We will say a photographic image of Jay, a respectable middle-aged man. I think from that it can pick it up. We'll say surfing, carrying a basket of fruit in California. And then we're going to generate that one. You can see it takes a number of steps and it works through, but it does it pretty quickly, and the price is quite reasonable as well. The training takes a little bit more cost, but then per image cost is quite low. We don't want to do that. We want to generate. And let's just go down to the bottom and we'll run that. And once again, generate up to 4 is the maximum you can do. If you saw that video, then it's going to do 4. That's a funny one. Let's take a look at that one. There we go. Good stuff. Let's save that one. I'll put that into my folder. Say surfing. And you can think of some sort of direct response. You can send a customer a bowl of fruit with a big picture. I've just delivered your basket of fruit. There we go.